What's going on?
What up? What up? All right, baby.
All right.
Doing it.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the UNN Ultra Running News Network.
I like it. The
That's right. The That's good. That's good. All right, let's just jump right into this week. We do want to just finish off our Western States conversation from last weekend, and we did a little digging after the last episode on the finisher rates at Western States, because we were curious, and we were curious if the increased lottery participation every year has also increased or decreased the finisher rate because of so many people. But what we found was kind of the opposite.
it's a pretty hard no. It's not even it's not even close. As a matter of fact, I feel like the inverse is actually happening.
Yeah, I agree. It is. In the last 4 years, the finisher rates have been 76, 80, 86, 79, and 66. Like pretty solid finisher rates. I think the 86.5% from 2023 was from the way below average temperatures. Yeah, that definitely played a factor. But we go back to 2019 and we had 86%, 2018, 81%. So the finishing rate is extremely high. And then if we look back to before 2010, 29, I would say most of the finisher rates are in the 60s, 60 percentile range. And if you even go back further than that, like 1990, there was a lot in the 50 percentile range. So
yeah, if you go back up to the top of the page, on the far right, the brown banner. Yeah, I flipped that. I went ahead and just sorted it that way, and that way I could kind of see the chunkings. And now you have it decrease, like it's going low to high, but flip it. And so this way, when you look at it, you can go and you can look like, all right, well, when was it really in the 60s? And like the first, like 97, 83, and like you have some 2000s in there when it was, but I mean, large in part, man, like it is true that if you scroll up to the top of that, 2023, 86.5, 2019, 86.4. So like literally a tenth of a percent, 2012, 2011, 2018, 2022, 2016. Like it's just nuts. It's like everything in the last 8 years or so has had a fairly high finish rate. And there's like the one or two outliers. It's funny because like this is on the geeks only section, I believe, of their page, and so then I did get a little geeky. The other thing that's really kind of fascinating about this is 2023, right? When you had a huge finish rate, it's because it was really cold out, really cold. It was a cool year, but they also had the snowpack, right? And so then you got to kind of wonder, okay, well, is that snowpack, the heavy snowpack they had that year, is that the reason they only had and again, quote, air quotes here, only 110 people with sub 24s? Yeah. Like, did that slow people down, but not slow them down enough that, like, they still finished? But it's just really interesting because you can see a ton of really interesting stats on here, but I feel really confident in the mindset of like people are like fuck this. I've been in that lottery forever and a day. This might be my one shot at it. This is my time to shine. It's like the NCAA college basketball. The one
underdogs, the 16 seed. Yeah.
And like people are like, I will not screw this up. And they put all of it in on it. Like, I mean? And I'll fully admit, I've ran 100-milers where I'm like, it's down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to try my heart, but like, que sera, sera. This, you're like, no way. I've been in that wait list for way too long. Like, I'm going to make sure.
I truly believe that to be true. Even the folks that get in on one lottery ticket, they know that this is a once in a lifetime chance, and they are going to train their ass off.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, you can't risk screwing this up. You can't take it lightly, and it's not an easy race by all means. It's, still has 18,000 feet of climbing, and like 7,000 feet of that's in the first 50K in the backcountry. It's easy to get behind the cutoffs at Western States. So
I think the key is like, and like, I've only been out there one time, but heaven forbid you get behind that cutoff early. I mean, like, just stay in front. Just stay in front of the cutoff in the backcountry. Just stay in front of it, because, like you're saying, all that climbing, then once you're out of it, you can probably make up time. I don't know.
You can.
I don't know that I've ever ran 100 where I've negative split the 50s, but I feel like if there's ever going to be a time, it'd be a race like this where it's like down. I mean, like, okay, all my brutal climbing is done. I may generally descend from here.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to climb up Devil's Thumb.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple others, but after you get to that 50K mark, Robinson Flat, you have like a mile climb out of Robinson Flat, and then you have basically a 13-mile downhill.
And
you can definitely make up some time on that, but then it's starting to get hot.
It's an interesting race, but I'm glad
it really is.
I'm glad we went back and looked at it, because it is really weirdly fascinating.
Yeah.
How, you would have thought, I honestly would have, without the data in front of me, anecdotally, I would be like, come on. All those extra people getting in on goofy stuff like 100Ks and like first timer hundreds. Like, surely this is a sky high. Nope. So, very cool.
People understand what's at stake, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's good to see, actually. And then something else that we wanted to just wrap up our Western States conversation. We wanted to give a shout out to 3 different people who got their 1,000-mile buckles at Western States this year. And this is the first time that anyone's gotten a 1,000-mile buckle since 2017. So, and with the increasing difficulty of getting into Western States, less and less people are getting, 10 finishes. So Ken Ward, who's 67 years old, got his 10th finish. Casey Lichtig, 37 years old, she got her 10th finish. And Phil Sanderson, 56 years old, got his 10th Western States done. So they all received 1,000-mile buckles.
2 of those cats are not spring chickens.
That's right.
Like damn. The other thing I didn't realize that Western States had, I didn't realize that it was something and this is kind of a cool, interesting thing, is you have the 1,000 miles, right? Which is like just finished 100 miles. But then you have the 10-day buckles, which, you're finishing 10 of them sub 24.
Right.
And then the 2,000-mile buckle, which a lot of races have 2,000-mile buckles. A lot of races have those. But then the 20-day and the 25-day. Bro, if you have done 25 of these under 24 hours, there's a person that's done that, by the way.
Oh, Tweetmeyer.
Yeah. Like, dude,
Tim Tweetmeyer.
That is, I can't, like that.
That's legend times a million.
That is mind-bending.
It is. It is.
I mean,
he's like,
wow.
He's like Mr. Western States for sure.
Yeah. It's just crazy. But anywho, yeah, so the 25-day thing is really cool. I mean, shit, the 10-day thing is really cool. But anywho, we're here to talk about the 3 this year that got it. And it is very, very cool that it has been, it's been, what, 7 years since the most recent.
Right.
And then even in 2017, you had 2 folks do it. But it is kind of interesting because if you scroll back to like just before that, right? Again, going back to the new norm of the giant entries and the giant lotteries, you can see where kind of sort of on a pretty regular basis, you had someone getting 1,000-mile buckle, right? Like you had 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. And then you skipped a year, but then you had 4 people in 2010, and then 9, and
so it was 7, 6, 5, 4.
Yeah,
almost every year.
Almost every year. At worst, you skipped a year, right?
Right.
Now you fast forward, and it's 7 years post. So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of curious who got 9 this year. Did anyone get 9? Like, how far are we now from the next? You know what I mean? So it is a really interesting thing.
Yeah, we'll be looking at that next year for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that concludes everything Western States for this year. It was another fun year following Western States, but now we're past it. So this next race is not a ultra marathon, but it is a trail running tradition in Seward, Alaska, a long-time trail running tradition. And I think this race it's one of those races that started with a bet in a bar, like over 100 years ago, somebody bet somebody that they could beat them from the bar up to the top of Mount Marathon and back. And from downtown Seward to the top of Mount Marathon, I think it's about 1.5 miles, and it's a 3,000-foot climb. Imagine climbing more than 1,000 feet a mile. And this race has been going on for 96 years. Okay. It's a super old race. And I think it is a lottery. I think it's a lottery system to get into this race. I mean, you do have elites or there's certain people that get automatic entries and all that, but super hard to get in. And it's a big party. Like the whole town of Seward is a big party. Always takes place on the 4th of July. I made notes for the show today that said, some people love the hot dog eating contest on 4th of July. Well, I'm all in on Mount Marathon, man.
Yeah.
I think it's super cool. And the climbing in this, like there's so many videos and everything on YouTube of Mount Marathon, but if you look at some of these pictures, I mean, and the way people can run downhill, like down this scree, I don't even know how it's even possible. There's Pete Mortimer.
There's 2 things I don't understand. I don't understand how people can do the scree is one of them. Like the running down the scree, I can do that. It's the skiing down the scree that like I've watched people do. I'm like, dude, how are they doing that?
Yeah.
But what he's doing, like that, I've done that an itty bitty little amount, and it absolutely turned my hamstring into a hamburger.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how people can do that.
Yeah. So what he's talking about, for those listening on the podcast, is there's still snow on the course, and there's a picture of Pete Mortimer from Arizona. He's just sliding down the snow on his ass. And you know what? I know people that have done it too in those sky races, and it burns your skin. Like the snow burns your skin. So I prefer not to do that, but a lot of people like doing it.
Yeah.
But look at that climbing. I mean, it's just like gnarly in the mud. It's like straight up. And then the descent down that stuff, like that just looks so dangerous. I mean, but I'm like fully intrigued. I would love that would give me a great reason to go to Alaska.
It would be 100% the best way to experience Alaska, right? Like it's gotta be one of the best ways.
Yeah.
Like just get to go there and like it's 4th of July, so it can't be that cold. You know what I mean? Most
people are in just shorts and shoes, no shirt,
I'm guessing it's in like the 70s. I mean, it's probably pretty comfortable. You know what I mean? It would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah. And it would be a lot of fun. 900 runners participated in this year's race. So a lot of people, and they have a bunch of different divisions that we'll look at in a second, but look at those guys sliding in the snow. David Norris won his 5th Mount Marathon, and he broke the course record, which he held already. He won for his 5th time. And Claire Rhodes won the women's race for the first time. And let's see, Norris shattered his record, and he did his 5K in 40 minutes and 37 seconds. And Max King was 2nd place. I think everybody knows Max King. He's pretty well-known ultra runner. Norris is an elite cross-country skier and mountain runner from Fairbanks, but he lives in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. He's won every time he's entered Mount Marathon. And then Rhodes, who won the women's race, she came in 49 minutes and 49 seconds. And it was her first win, 4th straight finish in the top 5. I do want to look at this other page. This is their actual website, and it has the overall records. David Norris has set the record this year for the men, 40 minutes, 37 seconds. And then Allie McLaughlin holds the record for the women from 2022 in 47 minutes and 9 seconds. They have a non-binary category. Maddie Sudweeks set the record this year, 1 hour and 16 minutes. And then they have a boys and girls division too.
Yeah.
So Bill Spencer has the boys record from 1973.
Dude.
And this must be a modified race because it's 24 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. But this is a 5K.
Yeah.
Like it's a 5K. And these really, really elite runners are doing it in like 48 minutes. It is absolutely nuts. I just love it. I love the fact that I think it's just straight up and straight down. And it's 48 minutes for a 5K.
Yeah. And the girls' record is held by Allison Ostrander from 2014, 28 minutes, 54 seconds. That does bring me to another point, what you just said about elites, because if you look at men's previous record holders,
Yeah.
Look at 2015, Killian Jornet.
Yeah.
41 minutes and 48 seconds.
That's the year he fell and dislocated his shoulder and finished the race with his
At
arm.
Hardrock. At Hardrock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he fell and busted his ass at this one too, and like scuffed himself all up.
It's very possible because he kind of runs like no
Like
holds barred.
Yeah. Like I think he fell and I think he finished all kinds of bloodied and beat up.
There is video that I think I linked to on the show notes of the year he did it, and yeah, it's just crazy watching him descend. And then and his wife Emile Forsberg or Emily Forsberg, she also won in 2015. So the husband-wife combo. You know, we're talking 900 runners here. 47 minutes and 48 seconds. She was also a previous women's record holder. So
the one thing, like kind of thumbing through the photos of this year, the one thing I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's snow and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like this was not as snowy as other years, because I feel like unfortunately for this race, they've had people like step into crevices and gone.
Oh, I heard some guy disappeared at one time.
Yeah, like they've had people step into like basically like snow caves or ice caves, and like that's the last that person was ever saw.
That is so messed up.
It is wild. Like so while we get that video pulled up, the other thing that really kind of like is wild about this, especially for us lower 48 folks, the race is, as you've been saying, is held on July 4th, right? Do you know when registration is?
Did it already pass?
Registration is on March 1 through March 31st.
Oh, okay.
Like, could you imagine, like your name gets drawn and like in early April or whatever, and you're like, oh shit, I have like 2 months to scramble and figure out how. I
got to make plans for an Alaska trip.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's wild. Like, it's so interesting. So much about this race is intriguing.
Yeah, but so here's them at the beginning of the ascent going up, and it looks so steep and crazy.
That is literally the start of the race, and people are already hunkered over. Like, yeah, I love it. I love the fact that people are already like, F this.
Yeah, I mean, like every step is like brutal.
Why am I doing this? Yeah,
but it just looks so much fun too.
Yeah.
So they had some really cool footage this year, drone footage.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. That's just straight up. I love it.
I love the dude. Like, there's two things that's really, really funny. One, the dude using the little tree to pull himself the rest way, and the other dude's bear crawling. There was a dude bear crawling.
Heck yeah.
I mean, what a race.
And then you got people running up. So, there's that.
Yeah. Such a cool race.
And then once you get to the descent, this is just the live stream of the men's race. But here's the descent.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it's possible to go that fast down this steep ass hill. Look at this.
Look at that.
Like,
no.
That's so cool. Like, I don't know.
You gotta have quick feet and good hip flexibility, right? Because like you've got to be moving your hip, like that is the amount of balance it takes to go down that thing. I love the dude has the heart rate monitor. Homie, your heart rate is high. Let me tell you what your heart rate is. It's high. That's what it is. Like, I wonder what my heart rate is. A lot. That's what your heart rate is.
Right. Oh man, that's good stuff. All right. So yeah, Mount Marathon, definitely recommend everybody go to YouTube, do a search for Mount Marathon race, and check out some of the videos on there because
Very cool.
the stuff is it's bonkers, but super cool. All right, let's move on to some other race results from some ultra marathons over the weekend.
Not very many, but a couple.
No, it's kind of like the Western States Hangover weekend, something. Well, and a holiday weekend. So you typically on a holiday weekend, everything is kind of dialed back. So the Buckeye
50K.
Trail 50K was on Saturday, and let's see, I'm kind of doing things a little out of order here. Here we go. Yeah, so the Buckeye Trail is almost, it's a little less than 1,500 mile trail that goes all the way around Ohio, and the Buckeye 50K does pick up a section of the Buckeye Trail in Cuyahoga National Park. 30-year race history for this race. And yeah, I guess all events are not canceled in Cuyahoga National.
Yeah, I don't know how. And like this race is put on by Western.
It is
Western Reserve. Yeah, so I don't quite know how how they've managed to finagle letting CVMP keep this. I don't know if it has something to do with like where it's at in Cuyahoga Valley. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's that. I don't know. But yeah, it is kind of interesting that they've managed to keep this one in there.
Could be distance or amount of people in the race. I mean, there could be a lot of things, but the race has been going on for 30 years, which is really cool. And Alicia Graham won for the women in 5 hours and 13 minutes, and Luke Hickman won for the men in 4 hours and 3 minutes. Silver Rush 50 miler was this weekend in Leadville, and Mary Denholm won for the women in 7 hours and 4 minutes, and David Roche won in 6 hours and 18 minutes for the men. And Mary Denholm also won the Leadville Marathon last week as well, so she had a good back-to-back weekend there. And Silverton Alpine 50K in Silverton, Colorado, which takes place, kind of near where Hardrock is. And Sabrina Stanley won the 50K, 4 hours, 47 minutes. Josh Everly won for the men, 4 hours, 11 minutes. Sabrina Stanley, former Hardrock winner, pretty great female ultra runner. She set the course record. The men's race looks like it was close because it was just 30 seconds between Josh Everly and second place Anthony Kunkel. So the Kendall Mountain Run also took place in Silverton this weekend. This is kind of like a Mount Marathon type run, another race that was a bar bet. I can go to the top of that mountain and back for you.
All the best races are formed that way, right?
It must be. And I should back up a little bit. Silverton Alpine 50K and Kendall Mountain Run are both put on by Air Vipa. Kendall Mountain is a 12-mile race, so basically goes from Silverton at 9,318 feet up to the summit of Kendall Mountain, 13,066 feet. It's an out and back. And the first three women were only 52 seconds apart. Jenny Eamon won 2 hours, 12 minutes. Amber Tukey second, 2 hours, 12 minutes. Well, Jenny Eamon was 2 hours, 12 minutes, 35 seconds. Amber Tukey was 2 hours, 12 minutes, 56 seconds. And Corinne Chalvoy third, 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 27 seconds. And just over 2 minutes separated the first three men. Cam Smith was 2 minutes better than Seth D. Moore. And Smith ran 1 hour, 40 minutes. DeMoore, 1 hour, 42. And Noah Williams, 24 seconds behind second place for third and 142. So it sounds like both men and women races were very close. And that would be a fun one to watch. Because they're going just all out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just breezing right through these today. We have Afton Trail 50K. That's in Hastings, Minnesota. It's kind of a race that I believe has been around for a while, and you kind of hear about that race a lot for some reason. I don't know if it's reading it in Ultra Running Magazine or what, but Erica Mitchell won for the women, 4 hours, 29 minutes, and Alex Forte won for the men, 3 hours and 26 minutes. Forte broke Justin Grunwald's 3 hours and 30 seconds course record, and that stood since 2018. So, and finally, we should go over the big event, which was in Canada, the Quebec Mega Trail.
Dude, absolutely insane.
This race is a running festival and has over 3,500 runners across 10 different races, ranging from 100 miles to 1 kilometer. And it's the the 100-mile event is the 8th stop of the World Trail Majors series. And Anne Champagne from Canada and Jean-Francois Cauchon from Canada set new course records for the women and men. So 2 course records, 24 hours and 28 minutes for Anne, 19 hours and 1 minute for Jean-Francois. That's pretty impressive. And I think those are some pretty technical trails up there from my understanding.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the details on the climbing and all that, but I think it's pretty solid. The 80K, Genevieve Oslin Demers from Canada and Ryan Sullivan won 9 hours 35 minutes and 8 hours 23 minutes. The 50K both races were close, less than 3 minutes separating the first 2 women. Alex Castonguay won 6 hours 16 minutes, and Robin Mildred was second, 6 hours 19 minutes. And for the men, Eric LaPuma from the U.S. edged out Marcus Rebby to win the men's race, 4 hours 50 minutes, and Ribby was only 21 seconds behind. So pretty exciting races at the Quebec Mega Trail.
I'm trying to find man, I was looking around on Reddit a couple of days ago, and I saw a lady had posted, I got my first DNF. And it was absolutely crazy, like the run that she had done. A big deal. Oh, here it is. I found it. So let me see something real fast, because I was wondering if it's the same race. Oh, nope. Okay. Have you ever heard of this race? I'm going to throw us off on a little bit of a tangent here. Have you ever heard of a race, Bernina Ultras, and then it's like marathon or something like that? Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think so.
So I'm gonna try to send this to you, and I'm gonna send this over to you. It's just so we can maybe even talk about this later on, because this thing is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Let's see something here. Click on this link and see if you can open this. This is great listening right here, by the way, for everyone that we're doing this with. See if you can click on that link I just sent to you in the chat. But if you thumb through and look at some of the photos of like this race at Sheep DNF, there it is.
Oh, wow.
Dude, scroll down and
What?
look at the effing photos on this thing. That one's crazy. Like, look, like your feet would be wore out from going across that snowy ice.
Yeah.
The next
Oh,
photo
my.
is mind bending.
They have a rope, and it's like they dug a trench on the trail. It's about waist deep snow.
It's insane. It's like a horse trail. Like they're basically on a horse trail, and they are way up there in elevation.
Wow.
Way up there now. But look at the name of that race. I've never even heard of it. But it's on a glacier, dude. This race is on a glacier.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Where's the name of the race? I don't see it.
Attempted right there. We see where it says a big.
Okay, I got you.
Attempted, yeah.
Bernina All Tracks, Gloucester Marathon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few races. Like some of the races in Switzerland do go like on glaciers for part of it, but not like the whole. This one looks like it's like the whole race is on a glacier.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, compulsory equipment, spikes for crossing. Oh, I should share this. Spikes for crossing the glacier, rescue blanket, rain or wind jacket, drink container, mobile phone, trackside refreshments, runner meal, storage. Yeah, so you're just going across this ice, this glacial ice. Looks like the whole time, I guess.
Yeah, just nuts.
Interesting. So it looks like this is in. Where is this?
It is. I don't know what I found this on Reddit, and I was immediately like, I am all in on. I was absolutely just. I couldn't get by the pictures. Like the pictures is just that alone.
It's really like cool.
Making my head hurt.
Well, where is Pontresina? We're gonna find out.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Looks like it's in Switzerland or Austria.
Oh yeah, kind of like probably.
It's in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Yeah. It's in Switzerland. That makes sense.
Yeah.
There's still some glaciers in Switzerland. They are melting, but they are there.
still hanging in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anywho, I came across that, and then when you started talking about the Quebec one, it made my mind think about that because of the snow and so yeah, wild race.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. Okay. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, Kristian Morgan. So we shared last episode, we shared that Kristian Morgan had stopped his Appalachian Trail FKT attempt going northbound, even though he was still ahead of the record. Like he had some buffer too. But I guess what happened was that he had hamstring tendonitis, and it chipped away at his pace over a period of 10 days, finally bringing him to a pace which was unable to match that of the record holder, therefore deeming him unable to set a record on the Appalachian Trail. We were ahead of record pace all the way up to Maine, something he's very proud of. He worked very hard to achieve. Obviously not just him, but the the team of Iceman and Gun Section. I think Gun Section was his mom, because it was like a joke every time he'd ask where she is in the store, she would say in the gun section or something like that. But yeah, so I was actually reading some of the posts about the food, the preparation of the food and everything. But
yeah,
here's a picture of him. Look how like emaciated he is.
dude, he looks wrecked. I mean, those, like the way those ribs are sitting out on top like that, and like the way his abdominal cavity sunk in, that is wild looking.
Yeah, I mean, just to think he was only a couple days away from finishing with the record.
Yeah.
But this photo was taken one night after the attempt. He started at mile 0 weighing 67 kilograms and ended the attempt weighing just under 63 kilograms, which means he lost a total of 4 kilograms. And the weight loss happened within the first 2 weeks. After that, he sustained 63 kilograms. He was talking about the food that he ate during the attempt, and Gun Section told him later that he was eating 1.5 meals every night, getting in 1,000 calories one meal plus a ton of protein. And then he says he started each day with a smoothie, and this meant he was able to drink breakfast and save time in the morning. It's 2 to 3 cups of wild berries, scoop of protein powder, cup of oats, maple syrup, and Gun Section added in a couple other things. Each day he ate a steak, New York strip, and the meat from half a chicken, which was distributed into his sandwiches. Snacked on cookies, various chocolates, cakes, baked goods, and a smoothie about 3 to 5 times a day at road crossings. So 3 to 5 smoothies a day at road crossings.
So what's wild is, and by the way, just for folks who are listening to us and not able to do the math real quickly, or maybe not big metric to imperial folks, 4 kilograms, just shy of 9 pounds. It's like 8.8 pounds. What's wild is I'll be honest, like that dude, I mean, he's a elite ultra runner. So yeah, he's a skinny dude anyways. But what's wild is looking at that and knowing that that is only 9 pounds off from his current, because you're right. He looks like shit in that picture.
Yeah.
Like he looks rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess when you already weigh, what he say, 68 kilograms is what he normally weighed. I think
he started at 67.
67. Okay. Yeah. So when you weigh 67 kilograms, and at 67 kilograms, like that dude's probably walking on 3% body fat, 5 on a bad day.
Yeah, he didn't start with much fat to burn.
Right. So when he drops 4 kilograms, it is, I mean, it's super noticeable now. Like it is crazy how rough he looks in that picture.
Yeah, and that's with eating all that. Plus, the last 5 days, he doubled up on his snacks and ate every 30 minutes. These were originally 150 calories, but Gun Section told him later they went up to 250 calories. So he was sometimes eating 500 calories per hour or more. Never got palate fatigue because there was such a wide selection of food. Gun Section took care of all the prep of food. He was never sick. At the first road crossing each day was typically after 10 to 15 miles. He would eat a bacon and egg sandwich too. All the bread was used by Dave's bread, which I think is Dave's Killer Bread. Really good stuff. High in fiber and protein. So very cool, man. Like he was almost there.
Close.
Damn, tendinitis. Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
But a valid attempt, and hopefully he gives it another go, because he already has a southbound record. But for now, the Belgian dentist, Carl Saab, continues to hold the northbound record.
Holds it down.
That's right.
Dang.
All right. Well, you ready to jump into our Hardrock preview?
Let's get it. I feel like we got like just a perfect amount of time. Like we got like 20-ish minutes left. It'll be a perfect amount of time to kind of like ramble on and talk about a few folks.
Yeah. So pretty much everybody should know already what Hardrock 100 is. But if you don't, it's a race that starts and ends in Silverton, Colorado, which Silverton itself sits at 9,000 feet. The race mostly takes place above 10,000 feet. It hits several 13,000-foot peaks, one 14,000-foot peak, and it's a loop course. It goes through Telluride, it goes through Ouray, it goes through, it starts and ends in Silverton, Telluride, Ouray. Dang, what am I missing?
Well, I'll tell you what. If folks want to see the course, I tweeted out a really, really, really cool flyover view of the race. So if folks are really, really interested in it, they can go check out the tweet that I put out there. That does show the actual flyover, and it talks about the rate, the different ones it hits. But to answer our question, Chapman Gulch, and then Telluride, and then Governor Basin, Ouray, climb up, Engineer, Sherman, Pole Creek, Magic Gulch, Cunningham, and then back to start finish.
Yep, and the race has
I feel like you hit the two big name ones, like the two big.
Yeah, Telluride and Ouray.
Telluride and Ouray are the ones that like. I mean, I feel like people might know like a couple of the gulches, like those really low points before you begin some of the big huge climbs. But like you hit the big cities.
Yeah, and the 114. The 14,000-foot peak is called Handy's Peak. I've been up there once. It's very windy. It's very cool, though. It's very cool. So, anyways, there's 33,000 feet of climbing and 30,000 feet of descent because it's a loop. And every year it runs the opposite direction. So it's like counterclockwise one year and then clockwise the next. I can do that. And there's only 150 people that are allowed into this race. So it's another one that's even harder than Western States to get into. And the list of qualifiers is a lot less. There's not many qualifiers for Hardrock. So
and a lot harder.
They're very hard qualifiers. I've done two of them so far, and not easy. And usually this race does draw some pretty elite mountain runners. Killian Jornet has won this race a couple times, and he's set the record. He's set the record a couple times. He, as Johnny was talking about earlier, one year he fell and dislocated his shoulder during this race, and he used his hydration pack as a sling and went on to win the race. No problem. So, all right. So these are San Juan Mountains. These are very big mountains. And mountains. Let's go ahead and start with the women's field.
I mean, that's a quick conversation, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So right before we start, I guess I just do want to say that last year, both clockwise course records were set. Or no, I'm sorry. In 2022, both clockwise course records were set. And then DeWalter ran 26. Courtney DeWalter ran 26 hours, 44 minutes. Killian Jornet, 21 hours, 36 minutes. And his time remains the men's overall race record. And then DeWalter beat her clockwise course record last year going counterclockwise. 26 hours and 14 minutes. But the reason why we're talking about the clockwise course record is because this year the race is clockwise. So, all right, let's start with the women. And returning is none other than the GOAT,
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Dauwalter. Courtney's back, and according to this I Run Far article, it is her race to lose, and that is holding to be true. She's dominated 2 other big races this year, including Mount Fuji 100, where she was 3rd overall, and amongst a huge field of people. So she's really dialed it in, right? Like the one year, like a couple years ago at Hardrock, when she lost to Sabrina Stanley, she ended up dropping out because of stomach issues. Well, she has that all figured out now. So I mean, for my money, I can't see anybody beating Courtney this year. But
It would be, I mean, if you were putting money on a betting line and you had Courtney or the field, you'd absolutely be pissing money away putting it on the field. Like it doesn't make sense. Like it really, like at some point, until proven otherwise, right? It's like, okay, Courtney's a win. Let's talk about second, third, and like see who rounds out the podium. Is what it really is. Because like that's the wild thing is there are some straight badasses running this year.
Yeah.
Like straight badasses. Like to the point where like hell, even like the 4th woman down, who is like not a big name, you're just like, oh shit.
Well, Claire Banworth is, she is very experienced, but
she's very well. I think it even says like Claire's like the highest ranked finisher behind Courtney. But even like, so who I was talking about actually is below her. It's Tara. It's Tara.
Tara Dower.
Yeah.
East Coast, and she has really come on lately.
Yeah.
She won. Not that it's a similar style race, but she won Umstead outright this year, beat the men and the women.
And so it's kind of funny when you're like, oh, like when like the bottom of the elite is, and I mean, Tara's been in it for like 3 years, I think, right? So she's been in the sport for 3 years. So she's not been around for a really long time.
Mm-mm.
But when that is like who you're like, oh, okay, you're stuck. That is an amazing field. Like I'm super stoked to watch what Tara does out there, just because it's a whole different world for her out there.
And I will say, Tara, I've been following her on Strava. She's been out. She's been out west in Colorado training for quite a while.
Yep.
So it looks like she's pretty dialed in, to be honest with you. So this is going to be interesting to see what she does. And Claire Banworth has all kinds of experience running mountain races. Having taken 5th at least year's Hardrock. Oh, last year's Hardrock. Yeah, so Claire Banworth was 5th last year. If she has a good day, she could be right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Camille Brias, she took 2nd behind Courtney at UTMB back in 2021. She was 10th at Western States 2022. Yeah. 2nd at Diagonal du Fou, that is a really tough mountain race. Insanely tough. So looks like she has a few weeks of acclimation, and then we have Katharina Hartmuth, and she's on the short list of women who can run close to Dauwalter. She was 2nd to Dauwalter by 40 minutes at UTMB last year. So,
close.
Yeah, I mean, it would take something crazy. But she's been on social media, said that she has carefully been nursing an injury at the moment. So, yeah, she's pretty accomplished.
Yeah.
She won Eiger Ultra Trail 100K. Dude, I've been on part of that course. It's like in Switzerland.
Gnarly.
It's like some tough climbing, and
Yeah.
it's really a stunning area. Just awesome landscape, mountains. She took third at TDS, which is that really tough UTMB race. It's like very technical, like 70 some miles. So yeah. Oh, she won the Trail Andorra 100 Andorra by a large margin. So she's really good. But yeah, those are the top 5 women, and then Claire Heslop from Canada, Yitka Wynn, and then Maggie Guterall announced that she is not starting this year because of a 2-year struggle with Achilles tendon issues. And that's unfortunate. Maggie lives in Durango, I think. So if she is healthy, she's well positioned in that race. All right. Well, let's go to the men's race. And former Hardrock winner, Francois Dehaene. And he's also a former UTMB winner. And he won Hardrock and UTMB in the same year. And he is one of the best mountain runners in the world by far. And but I will say this, right? They have him as the favorite. But if you look at his interview with I Run Far, his pre-race interview, he's, coming back from ankle surgery.
Yeah.
And foot and ankle surgery and also he mentioned a couple times in this article about how he hasn't been feeling good. So, and he didn't say if he was sick or if it's just in general, a general statement. But it says, just to sort of summarize all that you've been coming back from your foot and ankle surgery, doing some training and then travels to America. When you arrived here 2 weeks ago, you said off camera that you were just not feeling well and things were not quite right with your body. So when you were first over in Buena Vista on the Nolan's course, that's Nolan's 14, you didn't have good feelings in your body, but as time progressing, you're starting to feel better. And he said, yeah, there's still like 4 days to the race, ? And they said, yeah. He said, so in 4 days, anything or everything can happen. And they said, that's still so many days. He says, yeah, I just have to rest. And I was feeling terrible. It's not often that I feel like that, but it's better every day. And I hope to be able to enjoy the adventure. So yeah, I mean, coming back from surgery, not feeling better, not feeling good. I mean, I understand he is the best mountain runner on paper that's in the race, but given these other factors, I don't know if I will pick him to be first.
Yeah. And
even before that, reading that article, I was going to pick Zach Miller as first but something's happened. But I was like, whoa, boy, are you? We'll get to that in a minute. So
I was getting ready to get all kinds of excited.
So Zach Miller, he got second at UTMB last year.
Yeah.
The guy he's been dominant for so long. He just continues to get better. And his training this year has been just insane. Like, he's been in Colorado Springs, just training in the mountains every day. he's putting in all kinds of mileage. I'm like, the guy lives out of his bus and he just drives around to mountains and trails everywhere. And you follow him on Strava, he's just putting in it's insane how much work he's putting in.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, he is going to win Hardrock this year. Well, last week, what was it, like Saturday or Sunday, like on Instagram? So
July 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out July 5th, he went to the hospital with some abdominal pain and his appendix burst. So he had to have an emergency appendix removal.
Appendectomy. Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in the hospital bed, he said he didn't know, but he was starting to feel okay. He didn't know if he's going to race or not. I'm thinking, yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's going to get in Hardrock now. He's going to have to withdraw. Well, what was it? An Instagram, or not Instagram, a Strava post yesterday shows an 8-mile run, and he says, "Wow, that felt surprisingly good. It's gonna make this decision a lot harder." And I watched. I think I sent you that link earlier about the YouTube pre-race interview with Zach.
Yeah,
and he says he still hasn't made up his decision yet, but he is feeling good. He hasn't made his decision. He's been carb loading, but
so we have additional details. So the comment, the 8-miler, hey, felt surprisingly good. This is shaping up to be a hard decision, right? Like that you're talking about. That 8-miler happened on July 8th, right? Which is Sunday?
2 days ago. So Monday.
Monday. Okay. Correct. Yesterday, he ran 6 miles. All right. Basically, so 6 miles yesterday. Today, he ran 4.5 miles. And the caption for the run is, "The caged bird wants to sing."
Oh, shit.
But needs medical clearance.
Oh.
So, read into that what you will. Basically, to me, it sounds like he's ready to sing, but he just needs the green light from a doctor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
so to me, yeah, I'm with you, man. If he gets the clearance from his doctor, he's probably gonna be running on Friday.
Also, this is a cat that lives in his van. Do you think he really needs a doctor to say yay or nay? Like, I can also see him being like, they're talking like, I don't know, man, I don't think it's a good idea. And he's like, well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I can also see that kind of like, dude lives in a van, for the love of God.
The guy makes his own donuts. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you know, Doc? You know what I mean? Like, I can also see him. So, even if I will say this: if he runs that race, and he podiums, it will be one of the more impressive things I've ever seen in the athletic world. If he outright wins after that, I mean, you've got that's got to be the win of the year, right? Like, if he wins that race, then what in the flying F does anyone else do that tops that win?
Yeah.
Like
that's quite a comeback story.
You just can't.
Just took a piece of his body out.
Yeah. And it's a weird, it's I mean, I listen. Like, admittedly, now when they do appendectomies, it's like a scope, right? They go in and grab
Yeah.
it. It's not like they make an incision,
Yeah.
but still, it's in your lower right, like abdominal area. So like the
Yeah.
amount of agitation and like strain, like
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it. Anyways, amazing story. Like, it will
Well,
be
yeah.
really fun to follow.
And in that pre-race interview, that YouTube video, he said that he has had some on and off discomfort there for a few years. So it sounds like he's had some appendicitis, like, coming in, like chronic appendicitis, how
Yeah.
coming and going. So maybe it feels way better that it's out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm
I don't know.
well. Yeah.
But you're right though. You're right. Anytime something gets done to your body like that,
It's just
you
nuts.
still have to recover. It's not like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope he does get to run, but if he does, I hope he's safe about it and doesn't
Hmm.
screw up his future career, because he's still got some really good years of running left.
Absolutely. You know, I'm while we go on and talk about the next guy, someone just jumped into my mind, and I'm gonna look somebody up real fast to see what they got going on. Go ahead though.
Are they in Hardrock?
I don't. That's why I'm checking. Like, I kind of lost track of what she was supposed to be running, and we haven't talked about her in a little bit.
Um.
Sarah Beal.
Oh,
Like, we haven't talked about her in quite a while.
she wasn't on the more women to watch list.
Yeah.
Might have to check her ultrasign out.
It's funny because I'm trying to do that right now, and like I cannot get it to pull anything. I can't seem to find her. Anyways,
All right, we'll just run down the rest of the guys.
yeah.
Ludovic Pomeray, he's 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 from France, but he's been in Silverton for a month. He's quickly approaching 50 years old, still on top of his game, and he took fourth at UTMB in 2021, fifth last year. He won TDS, so on any given day he could have a perfect day.
Mm.
Diego Pazos from Switzerland slowed a bit in recent years, but wait a second. They were tempted to say that he slowed, but it's not the case. Looking back at his UTMB finishes, 11th, 2014, 7th, 2021, 24th, in 2023. So he's high caliber. And from America, we got Jason Schlarb. He lives in Durango, and he tied with Kilian Jornet for the win in 2016. And then he DNF'd the following year. He blew his ACL in skiing in 2021. His running hasn't reached levels since before the injury. Back in 2022, he was 8th at the Eiger Ultra Trail, 51st at UTMB. So far this year, he's 22nd at MIUT and won a local 50K. Jeff Rome, he lives 2 blocks away from the start in Silverton, and he's a wild card. Before he moved to town, he was 7th man in 2017, moved up to 2nd place in 2018. He's more of an adventurer than a racer. He did well at last year's San Juan Solstice 50, took 13th at I Am Tough in September, that's a pretty tough race. And so he could potentially catch fire. He's kind of been hiding in the shadows lately. Paul Terranova is in it. He could have a great day. More men to watch. We got Nick Curry, who seems to be in like every single
Mm-hmm.
race this year.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Curry didn't have the day that he wanted probably at Western States. But maybe he was holding some back for Hardrock. Who knows?
I feel like
And then we got the speed goat, the 100-mile best 100-mile racer of all time, Carl Meltzer, who's still just plugging along. Got third at Antelope Island 100 this year, fourth at Pine de Palm last year. Luke J, Mick Jernick, Michael Owen from Ohio.
Let's go,
Ohio.
baby.
08.
Let's go. Ohio. There we are.
So he got third in 2024, first in 20. Oh, wait, what's that? I don't know. Are they talking about Promised Land 50K? Anyways, he got first at the 2023 Cruel Jewel 50 mile. And then we got Chris Tyson, second at 2021 Cruel Jewel 100, sixth at Cascade Crest. So yeah, that pretty much concludes. Like, what's your podium for the women?
All right, here's my podium for the women. First is very obvious, right? It's Courtney.
Yeah.
Very obvious. Here's where I'm gonna get a little. Here's where I'm gonna get a little creative. My second place, I am gonna go a little bit down the list, and I do have faith in Claire Banworth. I'm calling Claire Banworth for second place, and then third place. I'll go back up, and I think Hartmouth will get that third place. So that's my podium. My like feel good story. My like that would be super dope. Is obviously Tara, right? Like that'd just be so freaking cool. Coming out of Virginia, young, you know what I mean? That's my women. What do you got?
So Courtney DeWalter first, for sure. But I'm gonna take your wild card, and I'm gonna throw.
Oh, shit.
I'm throwing Tara in second.
Yes, let's go.
I said, man, I've been following her. I've been following her training on Strava, and I think she's dialed.
Yeah, I love it. I would love to see a Beast Coast go out there and get that.
Yeah, I think she's gonna do it. And then I really want to take Claire Banworth in third, but I think the smart money is going to be on Katharina Hartmouth.
Yeah,
I mean, she's very accomplished, but she is nursing that injury, which is it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say, but I'm going to stay with her in third. And then for my wild card, I'm going to go with Claire.
Easy, yeah, that's a good one. So we got the same.
The same four, just in a different order.
Since you're already going, you want to give me your guys? I will be honest. I find the guys very, very, very difficult. There doesn't feel like there's an uber dominant. Like I'm gonna just own with Zach being injured.
Yeah.
If Zach didn't just have organ ripped out of his body, I mean, it would be obvious, right? But I mean, so
yeah. Can we? I think we should do this two ways. We should do one if Zach's in the race, or two if he's not. Don't you think? No?
I mean,
okay.
I'll let mine fly. I'm just going with it. What you got?
Well, you know what? I think he's feeling good, man.
I like it. Go.
I'm going. Go USA, man. Zach Miller.
USA.
First place.
All right. I love that, dude. All right. Who you got second?
You know, I
think it's just one of those years, man. It's just not. I
think Francoise Dehane. even though he's not feeling good, he's still got the recipe for success.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put him in second.
He's an old dude too, right? Like he's pretty old, right?
Actually, what is he like? 40?
Maybe I might be thinking of someone else. Oh no! You know what? I was thinking of Pomerette. Pomerette is an older dude. Pomerette is like, yeah.
I think Francois is like late 30s, maybe.
Yeah, Pomerette's like almost 50, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, he's the older one.
Yeah.
But I'm going Zach, Francois. Yeah, you're right. The men's races is pretty tough. You know what? Let's throw this Jeff Rome guy on the podium. I like it. He's kind of the guy. He's like really tough. He's just kind of hiding in the shadows.
Yeah. I kind of like the picture they have of him is a really like kind of like, he just looks like a goofy ass dude too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just kind of like a hey guys, you play here too? Weird. Or you run here too? Weird.
Who's your feel good? Who's your sleeper or your wild card?
My wild card? Why don't you give me the Speed Go Carl?
Oh, dude, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Let it rip.
All right. So I am going off the cuff. I don't think any of mine will. I am throwing some caution to win. So right off the rip. I'm keeping it local, and I'm going with the Steady Eddie, and I'm going with Terra Nova.
Wow, nice. Terra Nova.
I'm going with Terra Nova to win it.
Nice.
He got 6th place last year, right?
Yep.
So he knows. I mean, he knows how to run. He knows how to run at the front of the pack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, there's just not that dominating figure out there that's going to be like. There's not that Walmsley. There's not that. Yeah. There's not that dude.
I would say Francois would be that guy if he wasn't coming back from this injury and not feeling good and all that.
And so since there's not that like imposing, intimidating force at the front, I think that kind of bodes well for like a dude who's like, yeah, man, let's get it. You know what I mean?
It's his year.
Yeah, that's just he's gonna boil the frog. You know what I mean? So, anyways, Terra Nova.
Nice.
I'm gonna go straight homer. I love me some Michael Owen.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about that dude. Like he can pull some wild shit out of his ass and just like hammer something. And like, listen, I know it's not 14,000 footers, right? Like I get it. Southeast Ohio is not 14,000 footers, but do not let Hocking Hill sleep. You know what I mean? Like it will get that ass. You know what I mean? So he's getting in work. So I'm gonna go Owen on second.
Nice.
I'm gonna go with a dude who I feel like we have mentioned almost every single podcast, some shape or some form, and it's Nick. I'm gonna go Nick Curry in third.
Nice. I like it, man. I like it. I like that we have different. Yeah.
And then my feel good, my like, I mean, what are you going to do is Miller.
Zach Miller.
Come on, like how can you not, right? So that's my 4.
All right, I like it. So the race starts Friday morning for everybody. It's definitely going to be live streamed. I think Aravaipa helps with that. I'm pretty sure they run it, the live stream. Mountain Outpost does. So, so tune in. Should be exciting. And the cool thing about Hardrock is that they wear the trackers, so you can see where everybody is kind of in somewhat real time. So it's pretty fun to follow. But all right, well, we're definitely over time. You have anything else to add, Johnny?
I don't. Super excited. We will. If we can find the live stream, we'll tweet that out. We'll Facebook it out. We'll post it out. All that kind of stuff. So we'll get the live stream going. And like what will be kind of fun is I will be working. Jamie will be working.
Yeah.
But what will be really fun is if we can get that live stream shared out. Let's get a little bit of shit talking going on the posts and have some fun interacting with everybody. If we get a bunch of people watching it, maybe we can have some conversations about it and go from there.
Yeah, sounds fun. Good idea.
Cool.
All right, well, enjoy the race, enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch everybody next week.
All right. See you, everybody. Thank you.